He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife. 10 reasons why she won't ditch Harry. Just yet. Hello. I'm H.G. Tudor. One of the huge advantages of accessing my work and understanding that a person is a narcissist is that it not only enables you to understand why they do the things that they do, it helps you understand the dynamic that they have with other people. It provides you with practical advice that you can apply to resolve issues that you have in relation to a narcissist in your own life. And it also allows you to predict the behaviors of narcissists moving forward. I regularly explain that it is important to go to the evidence, and as a combination of allying the evidence with the known behaviors that are attributable to narcissists, you can then make accurate predictions about what will happen and the steps that you need to take. This is why my vast library of material, not just the videos about this one's wife, but arguably the more important ones that cover so many different facets of narcissism and psychopathy, provide you with the keys to unlock understanding about the behavior of many human beings. I would encourage you to access all of these videos so that you gain understanding as to what makes my kind tick, why we do as we do, what our responses are likely to be, the manipulations that we use, the way that we see the world, what is it that we require. And you can apply that understanding to so many interactions that you have had in the past that you might struggle to understand, and to unravel situations that you're currently dealing with. Many of you have a particular interest in this one's wife, notably because you don't like her and you're waiting to see her come unstuck. You're waiting for the runaway train wreck that she currently clings onto to come crashing to a halt at the railway station of "You fucked it all up." As part of that, there is the ongoing dynamic with her intimate partner primary source, Prince Harry. Their marriage has been subject to repeated rumours about them having separated, that they are actually living apart from one another and just put on a united front for the purposes of brand management, to claims from the other side of the fence that this is an idyllic marriage. I have been able to furnish you with information based upon the fact that she is a narcissist and he is her victim, to explain what stage their dynamic is at, what that means, namely, he's in the sustained devaluation, whereby he will be subjected to malign manipulations, interspersed with respite periods where everything seems hunky-dory again. Witness, for instance, when they went to Whistler not so long ago. And it also enables you then to understand, is she going to get rid of him, and the reasons why. Now, I've touched upon this previously, explaining that disengagement will occur at some juncture and the reasons why. But you might be wondering, why is it that it hasn't happened so far? Well, here are the 10 of the reasons why she won't ditch Harry at the moment. Number 1, he remains easy to control. Control is something that the narcissist must have over everybody that comes up on the narcissist's radar. Harry, of course, as the intimate partner primary source, comes up on that radar with regularity. This one's wife must be able to control him, and she does. She does so with a series of benign and malign manipulations. This is evidenced, for instance, by the fact that he makes no public criticism of her. He regularly allows her the lead, so that she can be the one that stares down the camera lens, that she's the one that walks in front. He demonstrates support by turning up at her events, for instance, his recent attendance when she was on the panel at the South by Southwestern event. He allows her showcase space, as we might call it, at events which are linked to him. For instance, he enabled her to appear in so many photographs at the Invictus Whistler event. Furthermore, the fact that he has left his family and has very little contact with them means that that potential interfering element is kept to a minimum. Thus, Harry, whilst he'll have his moments where he'll argue and kick off, in the main, he remains easy to control, and therefore the disengagement trigger of him working her out and therefore becoming too difficult to control hasn't been activated. Number 2, his fuel output remains decent. Harry is an emotional individual. He wears his heart on his sleeve. Whether that's repeatedly talking about his mother, demonstrating his irritation at the paparazzi, talking about how he feels, he regularly demonstrates his emotions. He is not a standoffish individual. You can see that he's quite touchy-feely, and that's just in public. It isn't too great a stretch of the imagination to envisage that behind closed doors he's particularly emotional. He's complimentary, so he'll flatter this one's wife. And, as a consequence of the fact that he is somebody that has been encouraged to talk about his feelings and naturally emotes, he will provide a lot of fuel. Furthermore, his strong narcissistic traits, for instance, anger and argumentativeness and resentment, will cause him also to pour forth with emotions, which is all decent fuel. Accordingly, the pump has not run dry by any stretch of the imagination, meaning that aspect is not one whereby this one's wife needs to get rid of him just yet. Number 3, his character traits remain valid. The largest one of this, of course, is the fact that he is royalty, and with that comes a title, and that title has also been provided to this one's wife. That remains hugely important to her. See how often she uses it. Number 4, he assists her with the presentation of her facade. This one's wife likes to make great play out of the fact that she's a wonderful mother, and notwithstanding the understandable skepticism about whether the children exist or not, she regularly utilizes this facade of being a family person and someone in an idyllic marriage for the purpose of assertion of control and drawing of fuel. Naturally, she needs to have Harry there and alongside her in order for this aspect of her facade to work. Thus, he proves useful in that regard. Number 5, the lack of an alternative. Most narcissists, those which are lesser and mid-range, and as you know, this one's wife is a mid-range narcissist, invariably are seamless with regard to intimate partner primary sources. They move from one and then quickly onto another one. There may be no gap or just a short gap. The reasons for this are linked to the necessity of having somebody that's easy to control, one person providing most of the fuel, character traits, and residual benefits. In simple terms, it's why you use a supermarket rather than going around 70 different independent stores. It just makes it easier. If you want to understand more about why the narcissist behaves in that way, then I would direct you to read my book, Pipelines, and also the Logic Bulletin, Understanding Changes to the Narcissist Fuel Matrix. That will help you understand why the narcissist has the framework that they have by way of the fuel matrix, and what happens when it changes. For this one's wife, her narcissism would prefer that she would have an intimate partner primary source ready and available before getting rid of Harry. Makes it easier with regard to fuel provision, makes it easier with regard to character traits and residual benefits. At the moment, there doesn't appear to be that viable alternative. There, of course, have been rumours about her cozying up with others, her pursuit of the Getty billionaire, and also rumours about her being in Jamaica ahead of the visit that she made with Harry, where she was seen cozying up with some silver fox. But nothing appears to have come of that, and therefore it would appear that despite attempts by her, she has not managed to progress anybody to a position of candidate intimate partner secondary source that might then be crowned intimate partner primary source. Thus, lacking an alternative to Harry means that he remains useful to her. Number 6. Harry is still functioning. Despite the fact that he's been devalued and continues to experience that, and his various issues with regard to drug taking and problems surrounding mental health, he hasn't broken down and continues to function. Thus, that means that that is not a reason to cast him to one side. Number 7. He provides the residual benefit of money. Whilst the money pile is certainly diminishing and it is a future problem for the Sussexes, he still has money and potential access to more, which means that that particularly important residual benefit for a somatic narcissist such as this one's wife results in him still proving useful. Therefore, there's no reason to get rid of him just yet. Number 8. He is the reason for her relevance. Whilst we may well say that she is largely an irrelevant individual, she does have prominence, and this is only because of him. He's the royal. She married the royal. She has attempted to springboard this status and go it alone, witness the various attempts to get into writing, politics, broadcasting, content creation, and latterly, lifestyle brand, which have failed so far. And thus, the only reason that she holds some degree of relevance is as a consequence of her marriage to a royal. She has not been able to establish the level of fame and wealth that she requires in her own right. She is still reliant upon Harry in that regard. Number 9. He remains the route back into the royal family. While she'd prefer not to do this, a return to the royal family is the fallback plan, and Harry is the route to achieving that. If the latest attempts to catapult her to wealth and continued fame fail, as they will, the fallback is for a return to the royal family in some sort of role. Without Harry, that simply will never happen for her. Thus, there's another reason why she would not yet just jettison him. Number 10. He has not sought to expose her, and he hasn't caused any massive wounding. Those are disengagement triggers. Harry has done neither of those things. He hasn't gone to the newspapers or sat down and done an interview to talk about her poor behaviours and all the lies and revisions of history that she has engaged in. He hasn't behaved in a way to cause massive wounding, for instance, by ending the relationship himself or walking away from her in a situation that was very public. Therefore, he hasn't given her a reason to disengage from him. Accordingly, if you were wondering why she not yet got rid of Harry, then you can understand why that is linked to her narcissism. Remember, it is her narcissism that governs her relationships with other people, which naturally includes Harry. And therefore, by understanding the way that narcissism works, that it's all about what she needs vis-a-vis the prime aims, and how Harry provides and caters to those prime aims, governs his level of usefulness to her. It isn't about love. It isn't about compatibility. It's about how does he fit in within the framework of the prime aims. Does he, or is he no longer relevant or helpful in that regard? And that is what governs the decision to keep him around or to get rid of him. And those 10 reasons all factor into the prime aims in some shape or form to explain the 10 reasons why she won't ditch Harry just yet. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.